And so maybe you're all grumpy and sad because your containers are all flat, but I bet if you go out and you give them a little clean and maybe a little tidy, a lot of those plants might come back. The first thing I want to show you is two things I like to deadhead with. These are Felco number 2s. These are very standard industry kind of nipper. And then I use these little sharp nippers at the end. Mostly I just use my finger and my thumb to deadhead, but sometimes you can't always do that. Deadheading is the #1 question we are asked. How do I deadhead and where do I deadhead? Now, this geranium is in desperate need of cleaning up. You see a geranium is it comes on a very, very long stem, and right down here at the axis, which is easy to break off, is in fact a little node, and you can just easily break that right off in your hand, and it will clean up nice and easy. Don't try to leave a stem. So if you leave halfway up because you're not able to get it pinched off all the way, you tend to leave this ragged edge, and the ragged edge dries, turns a little brown, and then it just becomes a bit unsightly. So you want to make sure you pick the geranium right off at the base. Bloom that is coming, you can see that each of these blooms have still yet to open with a shell around it that has not peeled back. You can see this one is a finished bloom. These are finished blooming and they are ready to come off. So we'll give a little tidy to this one, and you can sort of see how it'll clean up, and you want to take any dead leaves off. Petunia. And people love petunias for lots of different reasons. One is they come in such unique colors. They're very, very, very frost and wind resistant, but they're not so great in the hail either. So if you've had a basket of petunias that's really been decimated by hail, I would suggest that you do a thorough cleanup, how I'm going to show you, and I would start fertilizing now. I would start fertilizing a petunia with every fertilizing. I would use 20-20-20. I know mostly I say fertilize once a week, but after a petunia has been damaged, you still have plenty of time to get that blooming, because it will bloom for you very happily through September. So 20-20-20 every time you water. Most people think by simply taking their finger and pulling the flower off like that is the way you would deadhead. But unfortunately, that is not true. If you look, you can see this is a clear pipe. But if you look down into the flower, you will see there's a little knob in there, and that's where the seed is kept. And your mother and grandmother always told you to deadhead an annual, and if you deadhead an annual, they won't make seed. So as long as they're not allowed to make seed, they will continue on blooming. It's part of an annual life cycle. And so how do you go about deadheading? So every one of these little cups should be nipped off like this, okay? And cleaned right up. And I'm just going to show you, this one should have been deadheaded some time ago, and there's the little seed pouch, and it's already developed and done. So that'd be hard to make it make new blooms occur on that stem. So you want to get all these off, and you can be quite brutal if you want to take a whole big one off to clean it up and push it all the way back. Go ahead and remove a little bit of a bigger stem for yourself. And you just start deadheading with these little nippers I have. They're just some of the best. You can just use little kitchen scissors, but your finger and thumb, which is what I was showing you to deadhead that geranium, doesn't really work very well. And it won't take much for me to get this looking like a nice, nice, nice look. And make sure you cut them right off. They will flower again for you. I know you can't believe that because you're looking at a smushed container right now. Now, if your containers don't look this nice because of the hail, you could probably give this a really decent haircut and start fertilizing again, and you will get blooms. You have to believe me. You still have a few weeks of growing in Calgary, and with fertilizing every time you water with 20-20-20, that will help.